This meeting is recorded by the host or a participant. This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, is everybody live?
Here.
Welcome back. And it's been a month and it's been a lot of stuff going on. Wanted to go over a few things with you tonight. And one of the things that happened was the Worldwide Developers Conference from Apple earlier this month. And it introduced iOS 16, some of the features. And I wanted to just mention some of the highlights that pertain to us in that meeting. So one of the things that the promise of 16 is going to be, well, first off, before I start, iOS 16 is slated for iPhone 8 and newer. It won't go on a 7 or a 6 or anything like that. So the following features that I read about are going to be incorporated into this release later this year. And the first one, I believe, is you're now going to be able to end a phone call with Siri. You're going to just call out to Siri and say, end the call, and she'll actually hang up the call for you. So you won't need to do this tap, 2 taps with 2 fingers deal to end a call. So that's kind of nice. You're moving in the right direction in that part. Let me see. I wrote these down. I don't remember all of them. Let me see what it says here.
Hang up call bullet. Specify emojis with Siri.
Oh, and then when you're doing texting or any kind of dictation, you'll now be able to specify emojis with your voice. That's another thing that they've been working on for this release. So I don't know if that interests anybody, but we'll keep going.
Bullet. Dictation with automatic punctuation.
So right now, when you want to put commas and periods and ellipses and everything like that into dictation, you specify them. Now they've made it smarter where it judges by the pauses that you do in your speech, whether to put whatever kind of punctuation where it's needed. And if depending on your voice and the way it sounds, the way you ask or the way you speak something, it might sound like a question. It'll automatically put a question mark or an exclamation mark depending on your voice. So it's kind of neat little things that they're adding in. I've got a few more here. Let me see.
Health app. Add medications using.
So they're really doing a lot in the health app. They're gonna allow you to put all your medications in there, and you can track when you take them, see if you're missing a dose somewhere, keep a record of it, and then you can also have it tell you when your next dose is due. When the next time you're supposed to take your medicine. It's all going to be in the health app now. So that's going to be something nice for us.
Track when you have taken your medication.
So yeah, I did that.
Rapid security update.
Oh, and they're going to include what's called rapid security updates, which outside of the normal updates that are downloaded, if they find a problem and they need to patch it right away to keep hackers from getting into your phone or whatever it is, they can do really fast rapid updates if you choose to do that, and it'll actually come down to your phone automatically. So that's another thing that's available in this one.
Magnifier will support people.
Okay, so Magnifier is going to be upgraded as well, and it can recognize people, it can recognize doorways, and it can recognize things around you. So for example, if you go to a doctor's office and you need to find a door, you can point it, it'll say there's a door over there. And then when you get closer, Magnifier will be able to read any signs on the door or around the door to help you get around. That's going to be a big deal.
It's Maggie. How nice is that? Is that the one that you and I were talking about? To find a person?
Well, it's the same technology, but there's not too much on documentation about this. It's more overview. But I would imagine if you train your phone to recognize somebody and you point your phone, just like you would in Seeing Eye, it's going to tell you that person is in the line of sight of your phone. So it'll recognize.
No, I meant the one that during our lesson, the one that, remember I showed you that slip for the iOS was talking about, would tell you if you got near a door or near something that you might bump into.
Oh, no, that's a different technology. Yes and no. Yes, optically you can do it, but your phone, you have an iPhone 12 Pro. So you have the special little LiDAR technology, distancing technology. And that will allow you to determine things that are in proximity of you and how far they are. Yes. In your phone, it'll work, and not on my phone. Mine's a 10, so I don't have the fancy stuff yet. But yes, for you, that would work. So let me see. I think that was about it.
Captions in FaceTime.
Oh, so they're also trying to make this a reality. So if you're in FaceTime and people are talking, they're trying to get these live captions to come up. So this is more for hearing impaired people who have some vision. They can actually see what's being said on the screen. So I'm not sure it applies to us so much, but it is an accessibility feature that they're introducing in this next version. So it's a big update, and this is not even half of the things that they're going to be doing. There's some other things, cosmetic, and other things that aren't really relative to what we're talking about tonight, but there are a lot of changes coming in that one, which is why you need an iPhone 8 or more, because it's using a lot of the processor of the phone, and it's got to be able to handle that kind of process. And so
It's Annie, Manny. Will the SE have this?
I believe so. The SE, I think it's the 2020. Well, I'm not sure. I got to be sure. I think it's the SE 2020, and the newest one, 2022, will support this. Will support 16. The old SE though will not.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes it any clearer. And so anything released before the iPhone 8, Apple has shut them. It's not going to let them participate in that because they would just be too slow. It would pump
I
mud the
think
whole time.
you've got Lupita and Bobby have joined the meeting.
Hi, Lupita. Hi, Bobby. Welcome. So the first thing I wanted to get to after that was the news bit. Any questions on iOS 16? Anything that I mentioned that anybody has any questions on?
When's it coming out?
It'd be this fall. Apple hasn't given us an exact date. They're in beta testing now. And again, this WWDC. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, what's the most recent version now?
15.5, I believe.
Yes.
I may not
Yes.
say that. I just,
Yeah. But all the features I just mentioned are strictly for 16, iOS 16. And again, like I
Right,
said,
of
there's
course.
many more than what I said. And so I look forward to it coming out. I think it's going to help us on the accessibility front, help us get around better, do things better. Okay, so
Hey,
one
this
of
is
the-
Lupita. Can I quickly ask a question?
yeah, Lupita, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Mhm.
The emoji, is that something you're going to be able to just say, for example, smiley or something, and it will put that emoji in it, or how would the emoji come out by voice?
Well, right now, I believe you can already say things like smiley and winky, and there's like 3 of them I think you can say. What they're going to do is they're going to open it up to many more. And I don't know what the keywords are going to be, but they will be published when this thing gets sent out for download. But yeah, I'm curious too. Again, these are just previews, and they're in beta testing of this software, so I haven't released it yet. It's still testing it. So I don't know how that's going to be applied when it comes out. So sorry, I wish I had a better answer. So, okay, Barbara wanted me to review with you guys the startup and shutdown procedures because like most of us, our phones tend to get a little crazy after they've been on for about a week. So you'll want to, once a week, maybe manually initiate a shutdown. And that solves like 95% of problems that happen on the phone. It just is a computer, so I don't know how to explain it. It just gets into a state to where it needs to be reset and cleared, and then everything will.
It
come back up.
overrates.
Yeah.
It overrates. It gets
Exactly.
indigestion.
So if you have a phone with a home button on it, a physical round home button, you're just going to press and hold the power button, which is going to be on the upper right side on the edge. You just press and hold that for about 3 seconds, and you will hear, if you have voiceover on, slide or double tap to shut down. And that's how you shut it down. If you have the other kind of phone that does not have a physical home button, you have to hold the power button and I think the up or down, or either one's okay, volume buttons together until that same prompt comes up, and then you double tap on that and then it shuts down. And then
Manny, you said hold the power button, but do you mean hold the power and the home button?
No, the power button plus one of
Simultaneous.
the volume buttons. If you don't have a phone, if your phone does not have a home button, you hold the power button plus one of the volume buttons together for about 3 seconds, and then you'll hear it say slide or double tap to shut down. And that's usually the iPhone 10 and newer, not including the SE releases that are out there. So, and then you leave it off for about, I'd say 30 seconds, just to make sure it shuts down all the way. Then you press the power button again and hold it for about maybe 3 or 4 seconds, then let it go, and then it'll boot up. You're not going to hear anything while it does that because it's not up yet. And then once it gets to a state, it'll start talking to you. You'll either have to type in your password or your whatever it is, or it'll just take you right to the home screen if you don't have a password or a PIN code on there to open it. And I would do that once a week, 2 weeks at the outset, and that'll solve like a lot of problems that you may experience on your phone. So, any questions about that, or are we okay?
I have a related question. This
Yeah.
is Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
I learned about the SE today. I didn't know anything about it, and it has a home button, which I really miss. I have
That's
a
right.
12 Pro Max. Would it be wise to upgrade to an SE, or is that a downgrade?
Well, it depends which SE we're talking about, because the heart of your phone is that little chip inside. And what you can do you have both phones there? Or
I
you
don't
gonna
have
buy-
an SE. It's
Okay.
just a purchase
Well-
question, you know.
Well, the thing that makes the difference is the version of the chip that it has. Now, I don't know what
How do I find that out?
you have to go into the about of the phone. So you go into general
Okay, I was just there.
and about.
Yeah, I'm there now.
And in there, you're gonna see something about an A number, like an A12 or an A something. That's
I'm
the
looking.
version of the chip that's in that phone. The bigger that number is, the better it is. So if this SE, the newest SE, has a higher chip than the one you have, then that's the one to get. But it's in there. I don't know exactly which setting it is, but it's in there. And it'll tell you it'll be like a capital A and then a number right next to it, and that's the chip version.
Well, I'll call Apple and they'll tell me. You know.
Yeah.
No big deal. Thank
It's
you.
Maggie. If you
Yes.
push the Apple app, it'll come up and it'll tell you what phone you have, what watch you have.
I know
Yeah.
it does, but I don't have what you're talking about.
I mean, I can look on my phone if you want to do that. Let me see if I can figure out what my chip is on my phone. Let me see. Hang on just a sec. We're gonna pull out old faithful here. And Face ID. So I'm gonna open up settings. So let me do that the right way. So I'm telling you the right way to do it.
Amazon.
Let me
Amazon.
increase that
Amazon.
volume a little bit.
Bard Mobile. Bard Mobile.
Okay.
Right.
Hey Siri. Open settings.
Settings.
Okay, so now we're in settings. I'm gonna go down to general. I'm not gonna go through every one. I'm just gonna skip down there. So
Cellular. Row 4 to 14 of 100. General. Button.
you go to general.
About. Button. About.
The very first one is called about. So we're gonna go in there.
About. Button. Name. iPhone. General.
Now I'm not sure where this is at, so I'm gonna power through them until I hear it, then I'll tell you. So let me see.
Name. iPhone. Software version. 15. Model name. iPhone 10R. Model number. MR1. Serial number. Coverage expired. Button. Songs. Zip. Videos. Photos. Applications. Capacity. Available. Wi-Fi address. Bluetooth. Modem firmware. Side. Button. Bead. 8 not carrier lock. Physical SIM. Heading. Network. 8 deep carrier. 8 MA. 3 ICCID. 89 need. Available SIM. Heading. MOE 2. 3 certificate trust settings. Vertical scroll bar. Vertical certificate trust. MOE 2. Avail need. ICCID.
Well, I didn't find it. I thought it was there, so I must be wrong. I thought I saw it there before.
Oh,
So, but that's
What's
the
it
thing
called?
that.
Because I'll try the search.
What's
try
that?
The search. I'll try the search. What's it called
Okay.
that we're looking for?
Well, you can go by two
What-
things. You can go by the chip number on your phone
97% charge.
and when it was released.
Tuesday. June.
If the SE 2022 was released after the 12, then the SE 22 is probably going to be more powerful. It's just they're going to put the latest chip in there.
Now I'm muted.
Hey, Manny, this is Hunter.
Manny, hold
Your
on a
internet
minute.
Connection is unstable.
Mandy, this is Hunter in the background.
Can you hear him?
I can't hear it. I'm sorry. I hear something, but I.
The SE3 uses the A15 processor. Yeah, did she say she has an iPhone 12? Did she say she has an iPhone 12?
Yes, she did.
Okay, that has the A14, but I think the reviews are the iPhone 12 is a much more powerful machine than the SE3, which is the budget, iPhone. So
You were cutting in and out.
the iPhone 12 is much more powerful than the SE3, even though it has a slightly less processor. It's got the 14 processor versus the SE3 has the A50. So that's the only difference. But everything else, as far as the iPhone 12, is much superior.
So in other words, Nancy, you don't want to get the new phone. That would be downgrading.
It's a downgrade rather than an upgrade. I get
That
it.
is correct.
And the SE3 has a limited 5G connectivity. It's limited. It works, but it's not the full. So yeah, I assume the iPhone.
But I wish we had we'd have the home button. That made life so much easier.
Sure, but that's not worth switching phones.
Right. I understand. Thank you. Because I was investigating it today. Thank you. You saved me hours.
Okay,
think-
let's continue on your lesson, Manny.
Yeah, sure. I think Hunter had a good point because it depends on, real quick, the SE is more of a low grade phone. It's an entry level phone, and in the flagship
That's what I
phone is
thought.
going to be built better. So yes. All right, so let me get to the next guy. No more questions
Hey,
on that.
this is Patty. Nancy, what do you
Hey.
miss the home button for?
Because sometimes when I'm on the phone and I want to check something, if I push that button on the side because I'm trying to do something, I can't, it cuts off the phone call. Whereas if you've got a home button, it cut off the phone call.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
sometimes
want to
when
do
you
the
get in
home
text-
gesture? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know the
Nancy?
home.
Like you're trying to press the
Some-
home button, so to speak, right?
Right. I don't know the home gesture.
That's the problem. Yeah, on the non-home button phones, the gesture for doing the home, pressing the home button, so to speak, you have to glide your finger from the bottom and wait for 2 haptic taps. It goes to boop, boop. And when you do that, it's like pressing the home button. And then it
Yeah.
works.
It's actually easier.
Repeat
That's what I was
that again
thinking.
so I can practice later.
So from the very bottom of the screen, right where the glass meets the body, you're gonna glide your finger up from the bottom at about a medium speed, keeping the finger on the glass, and you're gonna feel it bounce at you twice, 2 haptic taps. It's gonna go thup, thup like that. And when it does that, that actually does the home gesture, which is like pressing the home button on the other phones. And you won't
So it'll
lose
make a
any.
noise twice. It'll
What's
make
that?
a noise twice. You said it'll make a noise twice.
You'll
I
feel
said
it.
noise.
It's like a thump, like a vibration twice through the phone.
Okay.
Let me jump in here actually a little bit because I have some questions on this as well. So how did, with voiceover, I like to press my home button 3 times, click, 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 zip, zip, bang, bang, My 7 Plus is going down the tube. So within the next 2 weeks, I do intend to change. And I was thinking of the 13 Mini Pro. I was even thinking of the SE because I don't need the latest and greatest and bestest, but that might be too lowbrow for me, even though it's got an A15 chip in it, but it won't do LiDAR. And, I know it won't do some of the more advanced features of 16.
Correct.
But how would I then do a triple home tap, with the,
you would, just like I was explaining about the double, if you keep gliding your finger up the screen, you'll get a third one. And then that does the app switcher thing,
Would I get a fourth? Would I get a fourth one? Because double tapping home gives you the, list of things you can close, what shows you what's open. I guess the simple question is, I can now triple tap, and I don't know why he was so fixated on the elimination of all buttons, but I mean, the home button was great, and I'm really not too much of a stick in the mud. I accept change, but his obsession with that he wants no buttons, no hardware buttons on the phone whatsoever is just, to me, rank stupidity, and the home should have been retained, but no, he doesn't want it in anything
I
past
tell you,
7
it's
or whatever it
easier,
is.
John.
All right, so be that as it
It's
may. If I get a 13, if I get a 13 Pro or a 13 Mini, neither of which have a home button, how am I going to do voiceover on? I guess I could use theory, but
so what they did is they remapped that function to the power button. So what we're going to do is you're going to press the power button 3 times in a row to get that accessibility.
Good. I still get to press a button. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. But the sliding that I was talking about with Nancy, it'll do 2 for the home, the home gesture, and then the third one will bring up the app switcher, and there's no fourth, from what I understand.
I see. All right.
So you keep sliding your finger up.
Instead of triple tap home, it's triple tap on the, did you say the power, which is on the right side?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
It's
That's my
easier
story.
without the phone.
I should know these because
I was
Emily has.
terrified.
We're talking.
I was terrified when they were going to take when I went from a 7 to a 10, and I'm like, why was I so scared? This is easier. So you just have to get used to it.
The other thing you need to worry about with the SE, if you want to go bottom line, it's bottom line in a sense, but it does have a faster processor. I mean, it does have the fast, A15 processor, and the 3rd generation SE, or the SE 2022, is supposed to have some 5G capability. And I don't know that there's much 5G now in Tucson, and I don't know. I think 5G is being a little oversold. I think it's going to be a while before we see that be any kind of reliable. I'm not too fixated on 5G because I'm pretty much of a homebody. Anything I want, I'll just go on my Wi-Fi network, and I don't need lightning, whiz bang speeds when I'm out and about, because I'm not out and about all that much. But
well, you know what happens with, I think the SC is a great phone. In fact, I have that as a backup phone in case mine goes south. The flagship products like the Pro models, the 12 Pro, 13 Pro, whatever, those have those fancy OLED displays that are higher contrast. They're just zooped up SEs, really. And a faster engine is a faster engine no matter how you slice it. An A15 chip is going to be faster than A14, but that may not translate as well on a smaller unit versus one that's decked
Right.
out all the way around, you know.
Well,
So I don't,
somebody said, you know, if you really don't want to go top of the line, if you want to get in that middle range, consider like a 13 mini.
right, right.
And that's, now I don't think the mini has LiDAR, but you know, most of the times if I go out, and this may sound like a cop out, but you know, I'm with somebody, so I'm not going to worry about finding the door.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's nice, but if I lived totally alone and was like totally had nobody to help me, maybe I'd place more of a premium on it. But I might sacrifice some of the more whiz bang aspects of iOS 16 for I don't know why, you know, just for a lower price. Yeah.
You know, be perfectly honest, John, I think with the SC, the 2022, you're going to get like 98% of the functionality of iOS 16. You're the only
My concern about the 2020 the SEs though is, again, the battery life is supposed to not be so good.
Yeah, because it's just a physically smaller unit. Because most of your phone is a battery with a small little processor part and camera and mics and speakers, but most of it's battery. Yeah. So a bigger unit is physically bigger. Battery's going to be bigger.
What are your thoughts on the SE22 versus the 13 mini, for example? If you have any.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough
hard
one.
questions.
Yeah. I really couldn't give you a good answer. I mean,
That's fair.
I think price wise, of course, the SE is the guy. But do I want to? I don't even know if the OLED comes in the mini or not. So if it doesn't have an OLED screen, then I go for the SE. If it does, then I go for the better display, the higher contrast display. Which
Here
helps
again,
low
I don't see it.
vision.
I don't see a darn thing. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's like my eyes are enucleated. So, and the other consideration, I guess, is would the camera in the SE be good enough for me to do some music videos if I'm planning on opening up?
Yes.
Okay, I'm opening up or it is my intention to get a little more exposure as a solo performer here in Tucson, and Emily can be my videographer. She has a background in graphic arts, actually, which is close enough to video arts, and would.
No, it's plenty of camera.
Okay.
So,
You know.
Yeah, great
Normally
question. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that sounds good. Any other questions? All right, we're moving on and see what's next here. All right, so has anybody ever got their iPhone wet? You know, dropped it in something, or the hose, sprayed it with a hose.
Yes, I went swimming with my iPhone.
Okay. Well,
This was back when I had an iPhone 5.
Well,
So
believe it or
a long
not,
time ago.
iPhones are rated to be submerged for X number of minutes and X feet of water, like less 5 feet or less for like 30 minutes and not have a problem. That doesn't apply to every single one, but typically.
Right.
But what happens is that even if you get it out of the water, you're still going to have water in the speaker, the little transducer that makes the sounds in your phone. But and the reason I'm talking about this is because I stumbled on this article about this. There is an app. Well, there's a shortcut that you can download, basically an app. And what it does when you turn it on, it produces a tone and at a volume that evacuates the water out of the speaker area. That it actually
like it's spitting it out.
it actually pushes it out because of the frequency and the amplitude. I mean the higher low tone and the volume. The water or the liquid responds to that, and it actually pushes it out of the cavity with the speakers at. So I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to share that with you. You could also do other methods to get moisture out of your phone. Just sit it on a table, let it be in the dry air. I've heard of one guy immersing it in rice because of rice.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
But I've heard it doesn't work.
So yeah, there's many ways to do that, but I thought that the little shortcut thing that produces the tone and it blasts the water right out of the speaker canal.
That's
I thought that was
cool.
pretty neat. Yeah. So if
But
you
how
ever,
do you do the app? if the
So
phone's not working?
it's a shortcut, and you can download it from Apple, and you put it on your phone, and then it's enabled by Siri. You can just tell it whatever the name is to run the shortcut. And I can put all this in the notes. I'll find the name of it and make sure it's all in there. And
Okay,
then
thank
you
you.
can command it with Siri, and it'll produce a tone, and it'll actually blast the water right out of your phone. I thought that was pretty cool. So
Well, I have the
Give it to
10 and
Apple.
it has, sorry, I have the 10. This is Patty, and it has those two speakers, or yeah, right, speakers on the bottom, and I dropped it in the tub, but I took it immediately out, and it was dirty, so I needed to take a bath. But nothing got into, I was thinking that it was gonna go right into those speakers right there.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I just shook it right off, and I put it in rice and paper towels, but somehow, I don't know if I was that quick, but no water got into my phone.
Yeah,
So,
they're pretty watertight. I mean, you'd have to submerge them for a long time, and then just the sheer water pressure would break through somehow, maybe through the speaker. I don't know. But the rest of it's pretty sealed up tight. That's why
Yeah.
they rate it like that. So,
Annie wanted to say something.
oh, sorry, Annie, go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Later.
So again, that's a shortcut. We went over shortcuts briefly, but that's a real intricate subject. But the thing is, I'll put in the notes how to get that, how to download it.
Margot, did you have a question?
Yeah, real quick, it's not water though that I wanted to ask about. I got sand in my other phone. I still have it because I have photographs in there. I wanted to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I guess sand is not a good thing, huh?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear it. I didn't catch it.
What'd she say? It's not a good thing, Hunter?
Pick up the phone and you move it.
Please,
over
I
and-
don't know what to do.
Go ahead and ask your question again. I moved the phone over
It's
to the microphone.
Margot.
Ask your
Okay.
question.
I've got very fine sand in my iPhone 8. I still have it because I have some photos on it I want to save, but I don't know what to do about the sand.
I'm not an authority on this, but I would imagine some kind of vacuum, but not like for your carpet, but like a specialized vacuum for
Oh, gotcha.
electronics. Or I don't know if compressed air would help, but I don't know how much sand you have in there, and if you use compressed air, will it make the problem worse or cause a problem if it's in your speaker or microphone area? I wish I had a
Well,
better
that's
answer for you.
bad already.
Oh,
I did get I was traveling and I did stop at a iPhone shop, and they said there was nothing they could do, but that was in Peru, so.
okay. I would definitely try the vacuum first somewhere. You can take it somewhere. They have these little vacuums for electronics like that, and then of course I have to. I'd have to look it up. It's been a long time since I've checked that out, but I know they're out there. And
Well, you
then,
can take it to Battery Plus, Margot.
Oh, I didn't think of that. All
And
right,
they clean phones.
Wow, thank you, Barbara.
and
Yeah.
Margot, also, don't you have your pictures in the cloud?
I am
You need
very
to make an
bad
appointment.
backing up.
Yeah, you got to make an appointment before you go, Margot. You just can't go because they tell you how long it'll be, and then you come back and get your phone.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's good advice.
all right, great. Okay, let me see what's next on my list here. Hang on. All right, so I have a little show and tell today. I picked up what's called a phone optical screen magnifier from Amazon the other week, and just for this class. And what it is, it's just a piece of plastic, and you put your phone on one end, and then a big 12-inch diagonal lens pops up on the other side, and it optically magnifies the screen that's on your phone. And there's no power to it. It's just a piece of plastic, and it works pretty good. You know, I put my phone in the back and I turn it on, and I can see it, you know, the best as I can, obviously, over the entire diagonal of the lens in front of me. So it's optically magnifying my my screen, which is really good. Now, of course, you can't touch the big screen and expect your touches to go to your phone. You'll have to reach behind the screen to tap on your phone still. But at least if you're watching something like a movie or whatever, a video, you can at least see it larger without having to use other types of magnification, you know, or hook it to a TV or whatever it is that you do. But it's a very portable little thing. It's about the size of a sheet of paper and about as thick as your phone. And it's really portable. So they run about 10 or 20 bucks at Amazon, and they got all kinds of different sizes. They have 14-inch ones, 11, 12, whatever. But basically the gist of it is your phone sits in the back, angled towards you, and then the lens is in front of it, maybe about 8 inches away, and you look through the lens to your phone, and it covers the entire lens instead of just the small physical form of your phone. So works pretty good.
Can
So
it go in portrait mode? Because I'm looking at them online, and can it? I see they're all in landscape mode.
The only ones I saw were in landscape, but I assume, you know, it doesn't matter which orientation it is, as long as the phone can sit on it, you know. So I'm sure there's portrait mode ones as well. The one I have here is in landscape.
Yeah, they all seem to be landscape. Yep.
But like I said, I'm sure there's other ones. Anyway,
well, if I find it, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and then, you know, it may or may not work well. It depends on your level of vision and your field of view. And of course, you don't get something for nothing. You know, if your little screen is now a bigger screen, it's going to be a little bit dimmer. So you're going to want to use these in a darker place, or you're going to have to bump up the brightness on your phone to get an equally bright image on the bigger surface. So that's just the physics of it. You have to compensate for the bigger screen. So I just thought that might be interesting if you folks were interested in that. So any questions on the optical?
They're really reasonable.
Oh yeah, they're real cheap.
Really reasonable.
Yeah.
Cheaper than CCTV.
And what's good about it, you don't have to worry about updates or anything like that, or plugging it in. It's just a lens, really, is what you're looking through. So it's kind of a lot like those hand magnifiers. When you look at something and it magnify it, it's kind of like that principle, except it's a big rectangle versus a round glass, you know. So all right, so let me see what's up next here. Okay, so another interesting feature in iOS 15, which you should have now on your phone, is a thing called visual lookup. Has anybody ever looked into that or know what that is?
I have no idea.
All right, well, I'm about to show you. So visual lookup is a technology.
7:22 p.m.
Hang on. Visual lookup is a technology that allows the phone to look at a picture and not only tell you what it is, but it can actually look up information about it on the internet. So Patty sent me some pictures of her animals. So I'm going to open one of those up. Let me get to that.
7:22 p.m.
Now, by the way,
Tuesday.
These don't have to be pictures that are sitting on your iPhone. They could be emails with pictures in them, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to my email.
Mail. 40.
And
Drafts. 7 message content. Sent from my iPhone.
Let's find
message content. 14992.
So anyway, for you visual people, I have an image in the email. I'm showing it to the camera. And I don't know what it is. I think it's a dog or a cat. We're going to find out. Let me just make sure.
149.
And what you do is you double tap to make that image big.
1499295. Done.
And then At the bottom of your screen, you have a toolbar, and one of those items is going to be information. And if it can find, if it can look up information about the picture, it's going to say this. Let me put it on there.
Toolbar. Detected item info. Button.
Detected item info. That's what visual lookup is. Now, if I go into that and I say, well, tell me what you detected.
Detected item info. Detected item info. Sheet grabber. Button.
And then it's going to say,
bicolor cat. A bicolor cat or piebald cat is a cat with white fur combined with fur of some other color. For example, black or tabby.
let me slow it down here.
Headings, characters, words, speaking rate, 50%, 45%.
So what it did is it saw a picture of a cat, but not only did it find a picture of a cat, it also figured out the colors, and then it looked up this particular cat online. And I'll just let it go for just a second. I won't have it do the whole thing, but you get the gist of it here.
Bicolor cat. A bicolor cat or a piebald cat is a cat with white fur combined with fur of some other color. For example, black or tabby. There are various patterns of bicolor cat. These range.
Anyway, and it does that with animals, with any kind of site like the Eiffel Tower, anything that it can determine actually what it is, and then it can look it up online and give you more information. That's called visual lookup. It's using the visual part of a photograph to help find more information about that photograph.
Cool.
What does it say on the bottom?
How do
What
we activate it?
is
You
it? Yeah,
already got it on your phone, and what it says on the bottom, Annie, let me get out of this because I'm in the results thing right now. So let me get out of this results thing, whatever this is. Scroll back.
Done. Button. Items in focus.
So I've maximized the image. So I'm in the email and I got like 3 images in there. And this is of Patty's cat. And what I did is I double tap on Patty's picture of her cat, and then it got real big. And then the phone began analyzing right away. And what it says on the bottom, instead of just saying information, which is like when it was taken, where it was taken, the f-stop and all that good stuff, aperture and all this about the camera, I can find out information about the content of that image. And it sounds like this when it finds something. It sounds.
Toolbar. Detected item info. Button.
Detected item info. And that's visual lookup. If it just says info, then it didn't find anything for that image. And that's where all that cat information came up. Because this is like a cat, if I can see it with my vision here. It's a white cat with black areas, multicolored, and the cat's just sitting on the floor. It didn't tell me about what the cat was doing, but it recognized that it was a multicolored cat, and it tried to find information about that. It visually looked it up. So that's kind of a nice thing, and you can do that with anything that it can recognize. You can go through your photo library, and if you have something in there that it can find, it'll say detected, whatever it said, detected whatever. Let me see here.
Detected item info.
Detected item info, yeah. And in some images, it won't be able to figure out, but some things it will. So I think
How
that's
smart is it?
What's that?
Manny, how smart is it? In other words, can I say, I've had two dogs since I've had this phone. Can I say Jack Russell or Poodle? Would it know the difference?
I don't know about that. I'd have to look into that, to be honest. The only thing I know that this thing does, because I'm not telling it to look it up. What I'm doing is I'm bringing the image up, and then it does a straight up analysis without me doing anything. And at the bottom, if it finds something, it'll say detected information. If it doesn't find anything, it'll just say information all by itself. And that's anytime that you maximize a picture, whether it's in your photo library or whether it's in an attachment or in a message or whatever it is. And you got to have an iPhone 10 or above to do this. You got to have enough horsepower for the processor to do this kind of stuff. So anything below a 10, it won't do that. I forgot to mention that, by the way.
Now you tell me.
Sorry about that. I should have led with that.
Time to upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, if you want that, I mean, it's nice because it helps us out if we can't
Wow.
really see it, it can tell us, it's a multicolored cat in this case. And I'm sure common items like cars and buildings and Eiffel Tower and dogs and cats and blah, 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 all that stuff will be recognized and you can get more information.
Screen dimmed.
So,
What I like is that you had it in an email and you just put your phone on it. Cause sometimes you get stuff in an email, pictures that you have no idea what they're, what it
Mhm.
has.
mhm.
Mhm.
And what's good too, even if you just look at the regular information, there's a lot of information because when you take a picture or anybody takes a picture with one of these devices, you get the visual content that you can see, but there's a
Mhm.
whole lot of information that's stored with it, like when, where, and like I said, all the camera settings and, time of day, everything.
Mhm.
And that's why if you're distributing any of your pictures around, just be aware that all that information is along for the ride. And they do have apps that can scrub that for you, but I don't know what they're called or where they're at, but I've heard of them. They can actually strip out the metadata in these pictures. But this visual lookup, though, it's aside from that. It looks at only the visual content, not any metadata, and tries to determine just by the way it looks what it is, and it tries to get you
Wow.
more information. So
That's good.
yeah. So anyway, any questions on that, or are we okay? All right. Let's see.
Notes app. Scanning documents.
So one thing that Barbara wanted me to go over with you guys again is using the Notes app to scan documents. That's a very important feature because it not only scans them in, but it can turn whatever's on that document into readable text and text that you can read. Now, we've done this about maybe 6 months ago, but I think it's worth going over again. And I want to look for a piece of paper here so I can do that with. Hang on just a second here. Find something. All right, let me just find some little thing here. I don't know where it is. All right, this is some kind of envelope. So there's an envelope. I have no idea what's on it. Let's see.
7:31 p.m. Magnifier.
So
Viewfinder. Image.
make sure it's not something.
Actions
Okay.
available.
So I looked at it with magnifier, and it's something from my doctor from Arizona, glaucoma or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Notes app up, and I'm going to digitize this thing and have it read to us. So
7:31 p.m.
step one.
Mail. Doc. Edit mode.
Step one is to open a Notes app. So, hey Siri, open Notes.
Notes. Folders.
Now, step two is to find that little compose or new note icon. It's going to be in the lower right of the phone. So you can search for it with your finger just by coming up from the lower right. So I'm going to do that. Where is it?
Toolbar. New note. Button.
New note button. Do that.
New note. Note. Text field. Is editing. Insertion point at start.
So what it does automatically, it throws a
Use
key.
the rotor to access.
It throws a keyboard up and expecting me to type in some text, but I don't want to do that. And the only way to get around that is to close the keyboard.
I toolbar.
Wait a minute.
Handwriting tool. Camera. Button. Checklist.
Oh, here we go.
Off. Camera. Button.
They've changed it since I last used it. So they've moved the toolbar. They got smart. They moved the toolbar above the keyboard. So you just look for the camera option, which is what I'm going to do now. And I am going to hopefully scan it in and see what color comes out here. Let's see. I'm going to go to camera.
Camera. Button. Choose photo or video. Button. Take photo or video. Button.
I'm going to take a photo.
Take photo or video. Take picture. Button. 0 people.
So I'm going to put it on there.
Take picture button.
Take a picture, hopefully. Maybe.
Camera mode. Photo. Take picture.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Receipt. Use photo button.
Use photo.
Note. Text field is editing. Image attachment. Large. New line. Insertion point at end. Image attachment. Large. There is note actions. Button. Done. Button. Notes. Back. Note actions. Note at new node. New node. Scan. But pin. Lock node. Delete. Button. Share node. Button. Dismiss pop-up. Double image attachment. Toolbar. Camera. Show handwriting tool. Image attachment. Large. Air. Landscape.
It's not reading it, I don't know why.
Notes. Image attachment. Notes. Back button. Note actions. Image attachment. Large. Air result. Notes. Back
There it
button.
was. You
Yeah, it
passed it.
didn't read it. I'm not sure why it didn't read it. It's
Manny,
Notes.
you just
Back
passed it.
button.
with notes actions.
Note actions.
Let's
Button.
see.
Note at new node. 7:33 p.m. Close. Scan. Button.
The scan? I think it's scan maybe.
Notes. Cancel. Position the document to view. Move camera slightly right and hold still. Move camera slightly right and hold still. Move camera slightly right and hold still. Scan doc. Move camera slightly right and hold still. Move red. Take picture. Button. Take pic. Top left crop. Drag near corners to adjust.
So let's see if that works.
Keep scan. Keep scan. Notes. Current filter. Color. Move camera slightly right and holds. Drag near corners to adjust. Top right. Crop handle. Keep scan. But retake. Button. Keep scan. App switch. Mail. Closing mail. Settings.
I think I need to get a better document. I think this one I can't seem to get the edges detected properly. So the way this works is you put a document down, you scan it, and then it takes all the text and reads it to you, but it's not doing it on an envelope. Let me just see if I can have something else here. This always happens. Let me see here. I'll try it again. All righty then. So I got the contents of the letter. Let's see if I can do it this time. All right, try that one more time. This I'm gonna hold up here. Stay there. Let's see if I can do it this time. All right. So.
Notes. App switcher. Note. Closing notes. App switcher.
All right, let's do this again. One more time.
Notes.
Okay.
Toolbar. New node. Note. Text field. Is that camera? Checklist. Format. Camera.
Then camera.
Choose photo or video. Button. Take photo or scan documents.
When
Button.
scan documents is what we're doing.
Cancel. Move camera slight current position to dock. Move camera slightly left and hold stick. Scan doc. Move camera slightly left and hold stick. Move cam. Ready for next scan. Scan document. Move to scan thumbnails.
Okay.
Ready for next scan. Auto. Button. Cancel. Button. Show filter settings. Color. But take picture. Save. 2 scans. Save. Scan document attachment. Scan documents. 2 scans.
Okay.
Double tap to expand. Scan document. Scan done. Button. Scan. Portrait. Color. 1 of 2. Image. 3 finger swipe to scroll between scans. 1 of 2. Share. Button. Done. Button.
Okay.
Scan. Portrait. Explore image. Image Explorer. Heading. Document. FUT career and dedicated staff.
Okay, here it
After
is.
being in practice for 30 plus years.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'd forgotten the step. So in review, we go to notes, we hit the camera, then we hit scan documents, then we scan, and then we save it, and then we get there, and then we explore the image that we saved. And once we do that, you can actually read the document.
Patients and fellow physicians. Patients and fellow physicians had the privilege and pleasure to open and work at Arizona Glaucoma Specialists, Tucson. Started to practice at the early 1990s.
Anyway, this is a letter from my doctor saying that he's closing his practice, and that's what it read. So I'm sorry about the confusion earlier. I just got mixed up with the function. So, is there any questions on that, or do I need to go over it one more time to make it clear, or is everybody okay? All right.
We're gonna practice it.
So remember, it's notes, and then it's new note, scan documents, save, and then you explore the saved document. It's like 4 or 5 little steps. I skipped the scan documents thing the first time, and I just did a picture, and that's where I messed up. So sorry about that. We're back.
Could you
Okay.
edit something? Can you scan it in and then edit it?
Well, once you can get text in there, you can then copy that text out to something. So
You could share it,
it's-
yeah.
You can select it, and then you can copy it, put it in another thing, and you can edit it there. You can't edit the document, the image itself, but you can take the text that's extracted from the image and put it somewhere and then edit to your liking. So yes, you could do it that way.
Okay.
And you would
Interesting.
use your rotor to select all text and then copy, and then you go to the destination, and then you would do the rotor and then paste.
Yeah.
And then it'll paste everything from the text document into whatever place that's receiving the text. So there's that. Any questions on scanning documents? All right, let me go over here.
Message content. iPhone startup and shut down. Water optical screen. Visual lookup. Notes app. Spoken content.
Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about was a thing called spoken content. Has anybody ever explored the settings for spoken content? Okay.
395 and silver.
So what's,
Notes.
sorry about that. So what spoken content is, it's a group of settings that allows you to have voiceover to do some reading for you without having voiceover on. So for example, if you have low vision and you can see a lot of the screen, but you can't read that small text down in the corner or the message. Well, this is a way where you can bring up the voiceover reading without having to learn all the voiceover gestures. And what it does, it puts up a little button whenever you get to an area where you can read, and you can press that button, and then it'll actually read. So let's go over there. It's going to be under accessibility.
Amazon. Settings.
So
Settings.
you go to settings and accessibility.
Display and home screen. Accessibility. Accessibility features help you customize spoken.
And then spoken content is what it's called.
Speak selection. On. A speak button will appear.
So I'll just go over a few of the settings. There's a whole screen full of settings, but the ones that are real important are the first 2 or 3. So the first setting in that screen is speak selection. So when you turn that toggle thing on, okay, and you get to a place where there's text, a little button is going to appear, a button that you'll have to see because you're using your vision here. You're not just using voiceover, you're actually looking at the phone. So a little button's going to appear in the upper left, and when you press that, it'll read whatever text you're on. And then the next one is the speak screen.
Speak screen.
So if you turn that on, you can take 2 fingers and go from the very top of your phone above the screen and you slide down, and it'll speak the screen as if VoiceOver was on. It'll speak the entire screen. And then the other one that's real important here is the controller. Let me find out where that's at.
Speech controller.
So the speech controller, so when you turn this stuff on, you're going to get a button, right? Like we talked about before. And if you have speech controller on, a big overlay is going to appear, and you can do a pause, you can do play, you can rewind, go forward, you can change the speed. I think you can even change the voice. And that's kind of the way you can have VoiceOver on your phone working for you when you don't have VoiceOver on full time. It's kind of a halfway between the sided way people use the phone and the non-sided. It gives you like a, so you don't have to have VoiceOver on and learn the gestures. You could use that in the meantime to read things that you can't see. So remember, it's called spoken content. And you'll want to turn on those first 3 settings I went over at the very top. And they're called Speak Selection, which gives you a button. The second one is called Speak Screen, which gives you the ability to do a 2-finger swipe down from the top to speak the screen. And then, of course, Speech Controller will then display a controller if you want to speak part of the screen. It will give you like more options than just reading. So those are very, very good options to have if you have some vision, but you don't want to jump into the VoiceOver world yet. You just want to have some functionality. Any questions about that? All right, let's go to the next thing. Let's see here.
Water retention optical visual notes app, spoken on Amazon app. Buy something.
Okay, so Barbara wanted me to demo the Amazon app and actually do a purchase. So has anybody ever used the Amazon app on the iPhone or the iPad?
Yes, I have.
Always.
Okay, so some of this is old hat to some of you. So I'm just going to go through it. I may not do the whole checkout, but I'll get it into the basket, and then we'll go to the checkout, and maybe I won't buy it, or maybe I will. I don't know. It's just a button press. So there's just a few steps in this. So let's go. So the first thing you do is going to tell Siri to open up the Amazon app. So, hey Siri, open Amazon. And we wait. And now what we can do, as soon as it comes up here.
Prime Day is July 12th and 13th.
Okay, so I want to look for something.
Search Amazon. Search Amazon.
I don't know. Let's look for.
Look for the oils. Look for the oils.
Essential oils. Essential oils. Okay.
Yeah.
Essential oils.
Inserted essential oil.
So what I'm doing, I'm in the app. I'm in the very top part of the app. There's a search bar. I went there and I dictated essential oils. And I'm going to look for it now.
Search. Back button.
Now about
20%.
the middle of the screen, there's going to be search results. I'm just going to put my finger towards the middle instead of going through every single thing above it. But
The
if you wanted-
problem with Amazon is they put all their advertisements first, and that's why you have to go to the middle of the screen.
That's right. Yeah, they're always trying to sell you things related to your search, or maybe even things not related to your search. They're in the business of making money. So that's what I do, and I've shown Barbara that too. Is if you want to skip over all the gobbledygook, you can come up from the bottom, or you can just touch in the middle of the screen, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to touch right in the middle somewhere here.
Click edit. Link.
So,
Sponsored. Results. Price and other results.
so results is the area where your search results are. And on my screen, it's 2/3 the way down. So there's 2/3 of the screen having to do with just what Barbara just said, advertisement. So let's go to the first result.
Price and other detailed. Sponsored ad. Bulk lavender. 40/42 essential oil, 16 ounces lavender essential oil in glass bottle, 100% pure and undiluted.
Okay, so let's see what, so that's the description of the picture. So I'm gonna swipe to the right to go to the other details. Now, it's gonna repeat that, so I know that the next thing it says is gonna be a repeat of what this is. So I'm just gonna skip right over that. So we're gonna go one over.
Sponsored. Lavender, 40/42, middle dot. 16 fluid ounces, 4.4 out of 5 stars.
That's the rating.
Link, 1,148.
That's the number of people who rated it.
$64.39.
Ooh, that's a lot of
Woo!
lavender.
$2.02.
So let's say I
Wow.
wanted
That's the real McCoy.
let's say I wanted that lavender. So I would double tap on the screen
Sponsored.
Mhm.
Back. Button.
and I pull up the details. So instead of hearing all the details again, I just start swiping down the screen.
Bulk chair. Bulk lavender. Lavender. 40/42. Anna star $56.29. Lavender.
So lavender is selected.
40/42.
And go on.
Cassia cedar chamomile.
There's more aroma scents here, so I'm just gonna skip through them. Now they're real big and I have a little bit of vision, so I'm skipping through them pretty quick, but you would be listening more if you didn't have vision. So we're gonna do that.
Sid, Claire, Clove, Cove, Side, Yuko, Fernie, Frank, Direct, Ginger, Grip,
gosh, how many
see
do you
all 60 options.
60 options, okay.
$54.39.
So that's a gross amount of money for a scent, unless you really
Well.
love that scent.
So you remember you didn't do it tells you before you start looking, it says the price. I know more or less how much they are. So
Mhm.
I'll put the amount, how much I want to spend, and then it searches for
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, I've never done that, so I'm gonna have to
I
work
use
on
a
that.
lot of I use Amazon a lot.
So let's say I wanted to buy this. I'm not going to, but let's say I wanted to buy it. So we're gonna go down to the button that says add to cart. And now there's a buy now button, but I think you should use the add to cart button because you can then go back and review it and take it out. If you buy it now, it's kind of a real quick instant process. So I'm gonna go down to add to cart.
Left.
Where is that button, Manny?
It's down below where I'm at now. I'm at the price. So it shows me the description of the item. It gave me a sampling of the 60 cents, not all of them, but some of them. Now I'm down, then the price, and now I'm down below that. I'm gonna swipe over until I get to the button. So I'm using a left to right swipe with one finger.
/ free shipping ampersand. Free return. Free delivery. Thursday, June 23rd.
So estimated delivery is Thursday.
Order within 55 minutes. Delivered to Manuel, Tucson in stock. QTY.
Here's where I can
1.
specify the
Pop-up
quantity. So if I don't want to spend just 64 bucks, I want to get 10 of them, I can spend 600 bucks in lavender. So I'm gonna just keep one, because you gotta have at least one. And then I'm gonna swipe to the right to the add to cart button, which is the next button it should be.
Add to cart. Button.
So add to cart button.
Add to shopping cart.
So we're gonna do that.
Add to shopping cart. Now here's one item.
Cart now has one item. So now, since I know this app, I know that my cart is located at the bottom, at one of the tabs. So I go down to the bottom.
Easy Go products more targeted 40
wait.
have more pure frequently but
You can scrub out of here. I forgot. We're in a detail
You
of
go-
an item. So we
you
need to
could go
scrub
back.
out of here.
Yeah.
back, add to cart. But
So now if I go to the bottom into this tab bar down here,
tab bar selected your Amazon.cart one item. Tab.
so I want to review
3 of
my
4.
cart before I check out to be sure everything's kosher here.
Cart now here's one items.
Okay,
Cart now here's one items.
so I'm in the cart.
Delivered to Manuel. Tab bar. Your Amazon selected. $64.39.
Okay, and if I keep swiping,
Proceed to checkout. One item.
so
But
I'm in the cart review process. If I like what's in my cart, I will press this proceed to checkout. So I'm going to do that. I only have one item in the cart and it's $64. So I don't really need to go down and listen to all the details again because we already know I put lavender in my cart. So I'm going to do that.
Cancel button.
Okay, so now we're in the checkout screen. Even though VoiceOver didn't say anything, I'm going to start swiping to the right to be sure I'm in the checkout screen. So let me do that.
Place your order.
Place your order.
Amazon.com checkout.
Okay,
Heading.
that's a heading, so that's not an actionable item. We keep going.
By placing your order, you agree to
Yeah,
Amazon
whatever.
privacy notice and conditions of your period. Place your order.
So there's a place your order button. Normally what you want to do though is you want to look at the shipping and if there is any.
And the taxes on it.
And the taxes. So Barbara's right. So we're going to keep swiping down because the order summary area is below this button where you would actually place the order. So I'm going to do that now.
Tap for fewer boxes. Shipping to Monwell, 8,000,
We're going along.
Tucson, United, delivery June 20, 2,000 items.
All right. So when you hear that thing, items, just for memory, that's going to be the amount of the items all by themselves. If I swipe to the right, it's going to give me that amount.
$64.39.
Okay, and then the next category of charges are
Shipping and handling.
shipping and handling.
$0.
I'm a Prime member, so they don't charge me shipping. So,
Total before tax. $64.39.
and that's just the sum of the items plus shipping.
Estimated tax to be collected.
Now, based on my zip code, they're gonna calculate the tax. So the tax will be
$5.60.
so 560.
Yes.
And then the total will be the subtotal plus the tax.
Order total.
Order total.
$69.99.
So right at $70 for that lavender scent. Now, if I went back up and pressed the button to order it for, place order, that item would come to me and they would charge me $69.99 or whatever it was. And that's how you order with the Amazon app. Now there's a lot of complexity in there too. I just did a simple order. You can set things up to be delivered monthly. You can do all kinds of crazy things. You can split the payments over time, all that stuff. And you can change your payment. You can change the shipping point. You can do all kinds of stuff. So any questions?
Manny, it's Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
They maybe want to know about how you put your card in at the end. That can be a little touchy.
Yeah, so they have a default card. So when you're setting up your payments in Amazon, you have to pick a default payment to go to. And that's the one that always comes up. If you need to change that, let's say if I wanted to change that here, that's where the rest of the complexity of this screen lies. It's in all these little changes. So I'm going to go down below where I was. I'm just going to take my finger and go down so you don't have to hear all the prices again or all the subtotals and all that. And we'll look for the payment option. Okay, so let me do that.
Estimated tax, shipping address, heading level 2.
So the rest of the screen is dedicated to shipping and payments. So I'm in the shipping area, so I'm just going to skip through that real quick.
Monwell's 8,000, Tucson, Unite, add delivery, Amazon, add delivery instructions.
So you can add
Option,
instructions. Yeah.
Amazon, buy payment information.
So now we're
Heading
payment.
level 2.
Payment information. So that's the other thing that they want to be sure that's squared up before you do it.
Payment method, link.
So if I click on that link, it's going to list all the cards I have on file with them that are current. Any cards that have already expired, well, I mean, they might be there, but you won't be able to select them. So I think I have 2 cards. If I were to tap on this, I could switch between my Visa and my Discover and charge my Discover instead of my Visa for this order. And that's how you do that. And if you need to add a card, there's a place there to create a new card. It'll ask you for the number, the dates, the effective date, or the date that it's no longer effective, and then the CVV code on the back. And then you can then make that the card that's going to be charged. So it's just a regular form like any other form. So that's how you do that, Maggie, by the way. And I think
No, I've
that's it
done
for the
that,
screen.
and then they want a picture of it sometimes.
Oh, so some of these apps, and I don't know if Amazon does this, you can actually put your card down and use the camera to capture the information. Yeah, that happens on some apps. It's not a universal thing. So however you get it in there, either by picture or if you have to type in the letters or the numbers from memory, you can do it that way. But yes, there's a few different ways. And I don't remember if Amazon actually has that option. It seems like they should.
Yeah, they do.
They don't.
They do.
Yeah.
I use that because I don't like to leave my card on file.
Right. So you can do it that way, absolutely. And then the only other thing you can modify on here is, of course, the shipping. I guess you could get it here faster and pay, or I don't know what. I've never messed with shipping since I became a Prime member. It just comes and they don't charge me anything. So I don't know if anybody has any input on that, but that's basically what I had for this on demoing the Amazon app. So any questions?
Yeah, how do you cancel that order?
Well, I haven't placed it. So if I place it, then I'd have to go back into my orders. So I have an order on file right now.
Right, so how do you cancel that?
So, okay, well, this order hasn't been placed, so it's just only going to be in the cart, but let's go to one that I placed that I haven't got yet, which I happen to have one. So at the bottom of the screen, let me just get out of this, this checkout thing here.
Cancel button.
There's the cancel.
Search Amazon.
But there's a cancel button at the very top. So at the bottom, if you want to cancel an order that you've already placed, you have to go to the second tab, which is called
Tab bar. Home. YourAmazon.com.
YourAmazon.com.
Channel 4.
And then the thing you go into is called Your Orders.
Your orders. Link. Back. Button. Arriving tomorrow by 9 p.m. Echo Buds.
So I got some Echo Buds on order. And let's say I wanted to cancel those. So I double tap on that order.
Arriving tomorrow.
Hopefully they haven't moved this around too much. So let's see. So I'm going to swipe to the right because I don't know exactly where this has landed since I've last done this. So let's do this.
Search Amazon. Scan prop. Voice search. Tab bar. Selected. Cart 1 item. Menu.
Oops.
Arriving tomorrow, 9 p.m. B08 shipped. Package arrived. Share tracking. Shipped with UPS. Tracking ID. See all updates. Address info. Manuel Celis Jr. 8002. Order info. Heading. Return or replace items. View order details. Customers who bought Echo Buds.
Well, I think it's return or replace.
Items.
Yeah, I think they put it under there. So you would just return it. I mean, it's already been shipped. So you can't cancel it at Amazon, so you got to return it.
Right.
So it's going to arrive and then I'm going to return it. So I process the return. And as soon as I get it, I would then just send it back. And then they'll give you the instructions. They'll even, I think, even give you a shipping label if you want to return it and all this good stuff. So that's where you do that. Since I don't want to replace it or return it, I'll just leave it alone. But that's, and you just follow the instructions. It's very simple. It's just step-by-step stuff. So, any more questions on the Amazon app? Okay. So
It's
let's.
Maggie, I've got to go. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
Maggie.
Annie.
Good
How we
night,
doing on
Maggie.
time?
8:02 p.m.
Oh, we still got some time. Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look at what's down here. So
Toolbar. Message content. Notes app. Spoken content. Amazon app. Google search with Yes Siri. Safari. Yeah.
So another
I
thing
wish
that,
they would make it, Manny,
what's that?
this is Patty. I wish they would make it harder so it wouldn't be so easy for me to order stuff.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I order a lot of stuff from these guys, and some of this stuff is for this class, actually. I try to get new items that might interest us, like that magnifier thing that I showed earlier. And I got one more thing I'm going to show later, electronic thing that I ordered from them last week in preparation for this class. So, okay, one thing that that Barbara wanted me to do was to go over the Google search options. So let's do that.
Closing, closing set, no.
Let me close all this stuff here. So there are 3 ways you can do a Google search on your phone. You can do it through asking Siri, and Siri will pass the search arguments onto Google search. You can do it in Safari at the Google website, google.com, or you can do it in the Google app. And they should give you pretty much the same thing, but Barbara and I noticed that when you use the Safari app and you type stuff in, it seems to give more relevant results. So is that what you remember, Barbara, when we were doing that?
Yeah,
Okay.
but you want to show them how to use Siri because that would be the easiest to start with.
Right. So is there anything, Barbara, you want me to look up, or should I just pick anything and go for it?
Pick anything.
Okay. So I'm kind of like kangaroos, so let's look at that. So I'm going to look up something about kangaroos, something more specific. I don't know. Let's just
8:05 p.m. Calendar.
Hey Siri. Information about kangaroos.
The kangaroo is a marsupial
Oh,
from the
that's not what I wanted.
Well, no, you
All right.
want to go. You want to go to a website.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get it to do. So let me see. I don't know.
You can go to artsexpress.org. That's what we did last time.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Hey Siri. Open website artsexpress.org.
Okay, I found this on the web for open website artsexpress.org. Check it out.
So whenever Siri says that, that means she's thrown up a couple of options on the screen and she has no, she can't really determine exactly where to go. It doesn't stay up for a long time if I don't interact with it. So I'm gonna have to ask it again because when I was explaining it went away. So let me do it again. Hey Siri, open website artsexpress.org.
Okay, I found this on the Arts Express Exceptional Musical Theater and Arts Education. Tickets down arrow.
So there's
2000
one.
Arts Express Theater. Facebook. Serving Southern
There's a
Arizona
Facebook
for 30
page.
Arts Express. Incorporated. Arizona Resource Directory. Provided by
All right.
Art websites. Heading. Arts Express Exceptional Musical Theater and Arts Education. Tickets down arrow. 2022.
I think that's it, yeah. So that's the one I double tap on.
Theater and art.
And then it'll bring it up.
Fund.
So that clicking
Skip to
noise
content.
is it means it's
Page
downloading the content of the website. And it when that
Web page loaded.
it'll say web page loaded when it's done, and of course stop clicking. Now the other way to look for that is you can go to Google. So I could go to my bookmarks. I have Google there, so I can do that.
Address. Art site address. Google. Button. Skip to content. Page settings.
So now I'm at google.com, and I wanna do the same thing. I'm gonna say artsexpress.org and see what it pulls up.
Google search. Search field. Insertion point.
I'm gonna dictate that in now. artsexpress.org.
Inserted artsexpress.org. Search. Main menu. Page settings. Button. Located in Park Place. Hours closed. Opens at phone. Web HTTP Arts Express web result with side links. Arts Express. About this result, capturing the extraordinary through 4 periods. Bullet Musical Theater Productions.
I assume this is it here. Let me see.
About this https://www.arts-express.org.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Link.
So
That's
it comes up in the search results as well. It came right up on top. Below it's the little advertising they have. Then, of course, the last place would be to do this same exact search, but from the app. And we can go there and do that too if you'd like, but it's going to produce the same thing. So let's keep going.
Calendar, Tuesday.
Hey Siri, open Google.
Collections, tab, Google, search field, Google, search field, Google.
artsexpress.org.
Inserted artsexpress.org, search. artsexpress.org, search field, https://www.arts-express.org.
So it was the very first one here too. So this one and the Safari one, they kind of mirror each other, except you're under the umbrella of an app versus the openness of a web browser. So, and of course, Siri was able to put it on top too in its list. So they're very similar because they all use the same search engine. If you pass the same results through, you should get the same results back. But there's 3 ways to search. So any questions on using Google on the search? All right, so let me go over here.
Create an email with gestures.
Another thing that I wanted to review with you is creating and deleting emails with just your fingers, with gestures. You can create emails with your voice using Siri, but there's another way to do it. And then of course you can actually delete with using gestures, but you can't delete them through Siri. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Next.
Calendar, Tuesday.
So the first thing you want to do when you create an email message is you want to open the Mail app. So that's what I'm going to do now. Hey Siri, open Mail.
Mail sent from.
Now, what I want to do is make sure that I'm in my inbox. Well, you don't have to be in your inbox, but you should be. So I'm going to check the screen here to see where I'm at. So I'm gonna use the swipe to the right, just on the left.
Message 2:22 Maddie Cell. All inboxes.
I gotta go back to all inboxes.
All 35%.
Those are my inbox items. So now what I want to do is I want to create an email. So there's going to be a create or compose email button, usually at the very bottom right. So I'm going to look for it.
Toolbar.
There it is.
Compose button.
I'm going to compose.
2. Text field.
So if I compose, I have to send it to somebody. So I'm going to choose Barbara. So I'm going to dictate her name in there. Barbara.
Inserted Barbara.
Now, I can't just leave Barbara in there because that's not a valid email address. It's just the name. So I have to go down to the guys below and see if I can find Barbara McPherson. And let me see if it's down there. So I'm going to swipe to the right.
Add contact results. Barbara McPherson. Schmack first.
That's the one.
Barbara McPherson. Schmack.
Okay, so that's done. Now I got to go to the subject.
Contact CC subject. Text field.
I got to double tap on
Double
that.
tap to edit. Use the rotor to insertion point.
Now I'm going to dictate something in the subject. Test email.
Inserted test email.
So now I'm going to swipe to the right and I'm going to go to the body of the message.
Message content. Message body.
So now I'm going to double tap to open that body up for editing.
Insertion point at start.
So I'm going to just say something in the body. So I'm going to do that now.
Message body. Text.
Hi, Barbara, ellipsis. This is a test from the class to you, period.
Inserted. Hi, Barbara. This is a test from the class to you.
So if I want to send that, the send button is going to be in the upper right somewhere. So let me drag my finger up there. We can find it.
Message subs to test email send button.
Send button. Double tap that. And then it's gone.
Mailboxes.
Then Barbara will get that message. Now, if I want to delete an email on my inbox, let me see if I can find one here. Let's see.
Messages. Unread. Kenneth Malcolm. Regarding sad news for the neighborhood.
Okay. So let's say I want to delete another one. Let's see.
Unread. Gob. Unread. Nanny Celis. T.S. Chica Green. Unread. Barbara McPherson. Unread.
Find another one here.
Page 4 of 25. Page 5 of 20. Page 6 of 25. Unread. Century Link.
All right, here's one. CenturyLink. I already paid them, so I want to kill that email. So it's an inbox item. I just do a swipe up with one finger to delete that. So I'm going to swipe up.
Delete.
Double tap.
Deleted. Dead Murray.
And then it's gone. So that's how you do your email with gestures. And you got to remember the gestures used to navigate with VoiceOver are very important. Your swipe to the right, swipe to the left, double tap with one finger to activate, all that good stuff. And it just takes practice to get that down. And then the other thing to get down is knowing where these controls are. Because once you learn these screens, your brain automatically remembers where the compose button is, where the send button is, you know, how many times you have to swipe here or there to get to these places. It's usually pretty consistent. So any questions on doing emails?
Manny, they
Yeah.
need to know that when you delete, it goes into trash.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that. Yes. So when you delete an email from anywhere in your email account, except the deleted items or trash, you're not really deleting it. It's moving it to the trash. When you delete it from the trash, that's when you're actually purging that email. But just remember, once you delete it from trash, it's gone forever. You can't get it back. So that's a fail safe there. So if you accidentally delete something, it actually gets moved to trash. You can then pull it out of trash and put it back. So that's the good thing. You can move it right out of there again. So, okay. Any more questions on mail?
Yes, this is Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Manny. Hi, everyone. I have never used Dictate. I have used Siri, but never used Dictate. How do you open Dictate to use it?
Oh, good question. So if you're in a field that accepts any kind of text, are you using VoiceOver or you're not using VoiceOver? What are you doing?
I'm using VoiceOver, but I had to teach myself years ago, and I have a keyboard that I use. So
Okay.
I'm kind of half keyboard and half touching the screen.
Gotcha. So what you do when you want to do dictation, like normal, you have to open a field up for editing, and VoiceOver tell you subject text is editing. When that happens, you can do this gesture to do dictation, and it's two fingers. Tap twice. Tap twice with two fingers. You'll hear a little ding. That means it's listening to you, and then you just dictate whatever you want to say. Just say
Okay.
it. And then when you're done, you do that same gesture again, and dictation will end. So I
Okay.
hope that helps. Yeah,
That does help. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Review price differences between Uber and Lyft.
Now, another thing that Barbara wanted me to review were the price differences between Uber and Lyft. And what I have seen, and I don't know if this is the consensus out there, if you're doing short trips, usually Uber is lower priced If you're doing longer trips, usually Lyft has the better price. So let's try that. So I'm gonna fire up both apps, and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna tell it to take me to the airport, which is a long ways away. That's like a $25, $30 trip. Let's see who comes out on top with that. So let's see here. And you guys can take bets while I do this and see where we end up being here. So I'm gonna go to Uber.
To Uber.
I'm gonna open it up. And we go to ride.
Ride. Button. Destination. Search field. Is editing. Places.
So
Restaurant.
it puts me right in the field where I want to dictate my destination. So I'm gonna dictate the Tucson International Airport.
Bronze. Shopping. It's a
Tucson International Airport.
inserted Tucson International Airport.
So I put the name in there, but just like in the other thing I was doing before, I gotta make sure it resolves to a correct address. So I'm gonna have to swipe to the right with one finger to get to the search results underneath what I just dictated. So I'm gonna do that now.
Clear text. Add multiple. Tucson International Airport. Twos. 7,250 S Tucson Boulevard.
Okay, I'm gonna choose that.
Tucson. Selected. Back button.
So I'm just gonna get right to the car, the cheap car there, and see what that price is.
Selected. UberX. Fare $27.
Wow. I had
Oh.
28.
$27?
That's
I said
27
28.
bucks. So you guys remember that number. I'm gonna go into Lyft and do the same thing. And I bet you Lyft is gonna be less than this. Let's see.
Uber.
Go, why don't you finish the rest
Double
of it?
tap.
I'm sorry, Barbara, tell me that again.
Why don't you finish the rest of Uber so they know how to do it?
Oh, well, okay, well, we can go back. Let me do that.
App switcher. Uber. Active.
Okay,
Uber.
so my,
Back. Selected. UberX. Fare $27 and
okay, so we heard that. So when you, the first thing you put in is the destination, which was Tucson International Airport. I resolved that. You then pick the car, which is gonna be this nice cheap ride for 28 bucks. And then you wanna confirm that car. Now you can take your finger and you can swipe to the right until you get down to the button, or you can just come up from the bottom. So let me just come up from the bottom to save a little time, because only thing you're gonna hear is the luxury cost and whatever, all these other costs. So I'm gonna come up from the bottom and find that button.
confirm UberX.
So
Button.
we're gonna confirm UberX, which is that $27.99 ride or whatever it was. So I'm gonna do that.
Confirm pickup location screen.
And then the very
Yeah.
last piece of information they need is where they're gonna pick me up, which should just be my home address. So what I do is I just swipe to the right until I get down to the pickup field or wherever it's called and make sure it's my home address. So gotta verify that, because sometimes it gets it wrong. I know when we mess around with these applications with Barbara, it sometimes puts it on the wrong street or the wrong address, and we have to correct it. So I'm gonna go verify that now. So I'm gonna swipe to the right.
Back. Confirm your selected pickup location. 8,219 Yarborough.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're not gonna confirm this right. We'll just leave it alone. I'm gonna go over to Lyft and see where that comes in on the price.
But if you confirmed it, you would have a
Calendar.
ride, correct?
Yeah, if I hit that button to confirm, they're gonna come for me, and I'll have to leave you guys while I go on a plane somewhere. So, or nowhere in this case. So I'm gonna go to Lyft.
Lyft.
And the good thing is you can have both of these apps running at the same time. You don't have to have just one or the
Where
other.
to. Button.
All right. So the where to
Double
button.
tap to set destination and get a ride.
So I'm gonna double tap to set destination.
Destination. Search field. Is that
All right, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna dictate the name in there. Tucson International Airport.
Inserted Tucson International Airport.
And then I'm going to swipe to the right to go to search results.
Clear. Tucson International Airport. Select Tucson International Airport.
Okay, so let's see what's next here.
Find your terminal drop-off spot by choosing your airline below.
Oh, so the cool thing about Lyft is that you can actually tell it the airline, which is kind of nice. That wasn't a feature in Uber. So I'm glad we did the
Wow.
Tucson International Airport. In fact, I did this last time I went to El Paso. I was flying American and I chose American, and the guy knew exactly where to drop me off when he got me. So let's keep going. We're just going to continue anyway without doing all of that. So
Frontier. Pick your item.
I guess I got to pick one.
Adjust confirm.
So
Button.
confirm.
Confirm. Button. Home screen. Mode selection screen.
All right, now we got mode
Navigate
selection.
up to find trip options.
Okay, here we go.
Navigate down to find right selected. Lyft. $28.99.
Oh, yeah. It's $1 more.
8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
So it proved me wrong. The last time I did it though, when I went to El Paso, it was about $6 less on Lyft versus Uber. So there's no rhyme or reason. I thought there was, but I guess
It's
just luck of
before
the draw.
4. It's at before and after 4.
What's that?
Before or after 4 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
what
Okay.
that's what the guy told me.
Okay, so there must be some kind of rate structures out there based on
So-
time.
Patty, which is cheaper?
Huh?
Which is cheaper then?
Well, it's if you go even like when I take Lyft or Uber from here from Manny's house, it's 2.5, right? So if I leave his house like 3, before 4, anytime before 4. If I leave in the morning, it's like $2 cheaper. If I leave, late after 4, they're almost the same, but Uber is a little higher. So Lyft is cheaper most of the time.
Interesting. So there you go. I guess, it just depends on the kind of ride you're doing and when you do it. There's no hard, fast rule.
Selected.
I thought there was, but I guess there isn't. So I was proven wrong. So to complete this ride on Lyft, like we did in Uber, so we got a $29 ride here. And just like in Uber, I just got to go down to the bottom of the screen and confirm that's the car I want. So I'm just going to take my finger and come up from the bottom, and I should run right into the button.
Select Lyft.
So I'm going to select
Button.
Lyft.
Confirm pickup location screen. Heading.
So this is the last piece, just like with Uber. I'm going to confirm that they're going to pick me up here at my house. So let me swipe to the right and see if they got the correct address.
Confirm pickup spot. Drive map or add location. 8,219 yard.
Oh, there it is. So, yeah. So they take identical information, just slightly different ways, and of course, different price. So,
Oh, but you didn't attach your driver's note.
oh, I forgot about that. So you're right. So with Lyft, I think you have the ability to add a note to the driver. So let's see where that's at.
Add note for driver. Add note for driver. Button. Close.
Okay, so on the Lyft screen, when you do the add note to driver, here's what it kind of sounds like. I'm going to do a left to right swipe.
For a smooth pickup, add a note. Write your own or choose one of the pickup note.
So I can write my own note there, or I can choose a few. And I'll just play 2 or 3 of them, just so there's like 6 or 8 of them here, but let's just see a couple of them so you can see what they sound like.
Gate code. Button.
Gate code, so you put a gate code and give it a
Start your
number.
note with this I'm wearing. Button.
So it inserts that
Start your note
text.
with this prompt. I'm at the corner of. Button. I'm in front of. Door number. Button. You'll be picking up. But door. I'm gate pickup mode.
So
Empty line.
if I want to specify my own, I just double tap on that.
Text field is editing. Pickup mode.
Then I can
Character
say,
mode.
blind person with cane, period.
Inserted blind.
Now Barbara has a real good system. She has that text replacement and she types in UB space or something. And it says a big old statement to the driver. So anyway, once I put that in,
Blind person with cane.
I can just say,
Add note for driver.
add that note. And of course, that note will be there.
Location, blind person with cane. Button.
Then I can here, if I don't like that note,
Double tap to edit pickup
I
note.
can then,
Delete pickup note.
I can delete that
Button.
note and then re-add it again.
Double
So
tap to remove.
that's the one thing about Lyft. It does give you that one little extra option to give your driver a note so you can stand out from anybody else around you.
Right, and then what did it say on that one?
I'm sorry. Oh,
What
the
did it
button?
say to
Yeah, the
confirm
button.
it? What did it say? Don't do it, but what did it say?
Ride.
So this one doesn't say confirm. It says request ride.
Oh, we said,
Delete pickup note.
Yeah. So that's the difference. There's slightly different, nomenclature for the same thing. But you got 3 pieces of information and 3, and 2 different prices, depending on what you're doing.
What does Patty type? What does Patty type in?
I'm sorry?
she said,
What does Patty type in?
what does Patty type in?
I don't know. What
I don't
part
type
of it are
in
you
it.
asking
No, I
about?
think it was Barb. Barb types some stuff in.
Oh, no. Barbara's got a thing we went over a few months ago called text replacement. And what she did is she has a big statement like, I'm a blind person with a cane or something else. And then she gave it like a code. So when she puts that code in, UB space, it actually puts all that text into wherever she's typing. So it's kind of a
That's
neat thing.
University Baltimore.
No, it was just she
Not
just
the
chose. Yeah, but you can use any combination of a few letters. It could be 2 letters, it could be 3, it could be 4, just whatever. But she chose that. Maybe it was based on the University of Baltimore. I don't think it was.
We want to know.
It's on Uber. It was so I could remember Uber, and then Uber didn't have the driver's note.
But what do you
So
say,
you
Barbara?
chose
We want to know.
Oh, Barbara, they want to know what your message says. That's what they're asking.
Oh, it says, I am blind. You will have to find me. Please identify yourself or something like that.
No.
And all she typed into the note was a U and a B and space, and all that got filled in.
Yeah.
The
Let me
thing that
close the
frustrates me with Uber is they don't like to ring the doorbell. Well, blind people aren't going to sit outside in the heat waiting for them.
App switch.
And
Live.
even if we were, we couldn't. If you can't see them, what are you going to do about it?
App switch.
Don't they
Yeah,
send a
you know.
message when they're pulling up, Nancy?
Yeah,
but
they
that's
do
a
send you a
text
message.
Well,
Wait a
your
second.
phone
Yeah,
is
text
all.
me.
Live.
On the,
Now.
on the coming to the door thing, that's really not their responsibility. And once you've called a cab, there is like a countdown clock.
32
And they'll tell,
PM.
you will be very reliably informed as to when your guy is out there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not, too sympathetic with the ring on the door. It's not dial a ride or
Sunban.
Sunvan. They're.
Oh, I live in the kind of house you can't see the front door.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying.
I
They
mean,
give you a
see the
heads up.
street.
They give you the heads up when they're coming. 2 minutes.
Like 1 minute out. And when I
Yeah.
see my thing say 1 minute out,
Yep.
I go to, not the edge of my
Right.
cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. You're not out there for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes when somebody who's very compromised couldn't necessarily do that. I
Right.
understand that, not necessarily because of blindness, maybe a coexisting condition, it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think it's out of line for the Uber drivers or Lyft, as the case may be, to expect you to be in position when they're.
Well, that last time I used Uber, I asked them to call me because a text isn't as easy as a phone call.
Okay, well, if they go along with it, great,
And-
you know. If you have a special
Yeah.
instruction in there, they're, you know, within reason, they are there to serve you, you know.
Yeah.
Right, I'd prefer a phone call to a text.
The other thing that might not have come up, and this complicates things a little bit, but for safety concerns, you can have yours set up so that you have to tell them a 4-digit code. They will not, you know, you get in the vehicle, but they will not drive you unless you give them the 4-digit code that was sent to you.
Yeah, that's what they
Oh.
do now at the university. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it set that
And
way.
nobody can
Sometimes it's
steal
hard to
your
find that
ride.
code, but you can find it, but he won't go anywhere until you provide the, you know, the code. So there is a safety. And I think there is a button on the screen, sort of an emergency button. If the guy's getting real funky, driving erratically, or, you know,
Yep.
if you don't trust him, you can kind of automatically call 911 or something. So I believe
'cause
that's
you
true.
could
I've never
could
had to
turn it
use
on.
it, so.
You could turn on the tracking or something for, for that.
I am going to encourage us to shut down since I need to be here for you guys, and it's past 8:30. You're getting there, so.
Oh, sorry about that, John.
No, it's okay. And the other thing, Manny, sorry, I would like you to contact me sooner than later, although I probably can't deal with it until tomorrow. This is going to put me way over my storage limit. They'll let it go for a while, but I want to get you the link sooner and later so that you can download it.
Yeah,
And
I'll
if you
download it right
have
away.
any thoughts or input about how a blind person can independently find and send you link information, let me know. Because as far as I'm concerned with for at least a month or more now, I've had to rely on Emily to get to do it. I have no independence in it anymore. I've got to get Emily involved and say, please click the thing that says copy information so I can send it to Manny so you can download it.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, let me look into that, John. I don't have a good answer for you right now. But I will get it done right away when you
Yeah,
send it
well,
to
I probably won't be able to do it till tomorrow. They'll let me go for, 2 or 3. I don't know how many days I haven't pushed it, but
me. Okay.
I
Thanks.
recorded a 2.5-hour meeting the other day for the Arizona Council of the Blind. So here's another 2-hour meeting. So they're going to say, I'm over my limit. I see it coming. So
Okay.
I need to send these things off
Yeah,
sooner than later. That's my only point.
I will take care of it right away.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Well, Barbara, you think that's about it then?
I think that's it. Thank you, Manny.
Thank you very much,
Right,
guys.
thank you. Good night.
Have a good continuation.
Thank you, Manny.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
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 Good night.